Good afternoon, everybody. 5 minutes to afternoon. So, the 0 to 1 journey, identification of a problem, is probably the most torturous thing you could do to yourself. It's not very pleasant, but at the same time, it's something that you get addicted to, right? So, when I was thinking about TaxiForSure with Raghu, at the same time, I had multiple other ideas that I was talking to other friends about. So I kind of like went around, to known people, either from engineering or from MBA, and I started talking to them about where they were in life. Did they want to continue doing a corporate job? Did they want to start up? And the few people who said, I also want to start up, I want to, do something on my own, I started talking about different ideas to different people. One of those ideas was TaxiForSure. As in Raghu was the person I was talking to. But otherwise, with another friend of mine, I'd discussed, why don't we import Chinese phones and rebrand it and sell it in India, right? As just a English statement. This was back in 2010, right? And one more person, we said, okay, let's sell, and this is all inspired by stories that I'd read about, of course, Deep's Make My Trip and Naukri and Flipkart, Redbus. So another friend, I was talking to, I'd said, let's sell fruits and vegetables online, right? What Big Basket eventually has done. So there were multiple ideas that I was discussing with multiple people. And why did we pick TaxiForSure? Actually, it was just meant to be, I guess. Because there was no logic behind it. As in Raghu seemed the most enthusiastic to start up. At the same time, we went deep, right? Which meant we went and spoke to the drivers. We asked them, are you happy with how much you're earning? Are you happy with the number of trips that you're doing? Are you occupied throughout the day? All of those were problems for them. For users, we basically put out a survey back then. I think SurveyMonkey was there. So we put the survey out there, sent it to all our friends, asked them what their pain points were. So we were extremely convinced that both sides of the market were having problems, and using technology we can actually solve it. The first person we actually met, after we conceptually put down a deck, our first deck, was actually Deep Kalra. And as in he opened doors and he met us, probably because we were aspirational entrepreneurs from IIMA who were doing something in the travel space, and he not just met us and gave us guidance and gave us confidence that this idea would work, but he also put us in touch with every VC he knew, from Axel, Helion, Tiger, everybody he knew. He just shot out an email, and we were extremely early. We didn't know what cost of customer acquisition was. I think our first meeting with Sanjeev, again Deep had introduced us. We said our cost of customer acquisition for a cab rider was 2 rupees or something like that. And his whole board was there. I think he would have thought we were crazy or something, right? So the amount of support you get once you're kind of like tuned into your idea, and we quit our jobs, we actually we're all in, as Deep was also mentioning in his earlier speech. And things came together. We spoke to some of the VCs. We actually never got any of them to invest initially, but we said, okay, on paper nobody's putting any money. Let's go and execute. So for 6 months we went out there, got our first few bookings. First few, we were the call center employees. We were the in some cases we were the drivers because we wouldn't get cars. I remember dropping this one one girl with her mother for her first day of work, and they were so grateful, right? Because we could have cancelled it very easily, but we still went and actually dropped them ourselves. So problem identification is about observing things around you, going deep on whether you're just hallucinating this problem for yourself, or is it actually a problem that multiple other people, or in our case millions of people, were facing. Then getting conviction around it, and then going all in on the problem, right? And this is at a company starting stage, right? Like, what idea do you go after? Who do you go after that idea with? Raghu had complementary skills. He was more analytical. He was, also operations oriented. I was more outside oriented, which means I dealt with the user and driver with ease. So we came together well. And while running TaxiForSure, there were other problems that we were solving, right? Like, there was this one instance where in Bangalore airport, during our early days, we used to put TaxiForSure stickers on cars. And the KSTDC guys and the mega, so the radio taxi guys, right? They started throwing stones at our cars, right? And no driver wanted to go to the airport anymore. So, what I actually did was we asked for a meeting with some of the KSTDC, as in the government car guys, and got them to this restaurant on Airport Road and told them, you have rides from the airport to the city, but you actually don't have rides from the city to the airport. You're going empty. You're earning nothing by doing that. So why don't I give you more business, right? We send our Indica, so back then we aggregated a lot of Indicas. So it was 650 rupees to the airport. And we said, we'll give you the 650 rupees. Why don't you take our rides, our customers to the airport, so that we're not competition to you anymore, but we're partners with you. And that actually solved that whole stone throwing incident and the emotion against TaxiForSure at that point in time, right? And post TaxiForSure, exits are actually not planned, as in whether it's a good exit or a bad exit. You never want to exit. You created something, right? But once we exited that, one of the things that was left behind in me was, how we changed drivers' lives with technology, right? And there's a whole large population, 90% plus, which doesn't speak English, and some of the basics of the internet, like searching, expressing oneself, all of this is majority in English, right? On the open internet. So, the problem statement that we went after there was, let's try and create a comfortable space for people to come and express in their own language. And, we got a lot of initial interest from the Kannada community when we started Koo, right? We said, Twitter is a place for the 1% of India. They're talking in English, they're trending stuff in English. All the stuff that is trending on Twitter actually doesn't matter to you. What matters to you, you should talk about, right? And that emotion itself was product market fit for us, right? A lot of people came in, started talking on the platform, and what was trending in languages was very different from what was trending in English, right? And that's how we kind of figured that there's a deeper space. Now Koo is 60 million plus downloads. We apart from India, Nigeria used us. Brazil is still using us in Portuguese. So the same concept of 90% plus Indians speak non-English is applicable to the world as well. 80% of the world actually speaks non-English. So I think what we've kind of figured is a product that helps people express themselves in the comfort of their language amongst people that understand that language, and hence they're given a space on the internet which otherwise is very English first and English prioritized.